All right, guys, I've had a kebab on there. There's an empty plate. Put it in the kitchen. There's a woman talking about national lockdown again. It's already happened once in Liverpool, then the second time she reckons it's going to happen again in Manchester as well. This is her talking about it on the news. Today's coronavirus numbers this is what she's saying. She's worried about her business and stuff and people going out and mixing and socialising. Showing the UK has recorded a future 17,234 daily coronavirus cases. People have caught it. Daily cases of COVID-19 and 443 related deaths, as you can see here. That sure has spiked up very high again, as you can see here. There's no joke, 443 related deaths of the UK coronavirus. I don't know about Scotland, Northern Ireland and Wales, but this is Liverpool, as you can see here. And she's talking about the news. See, it has jumped up a huge deal, guys and girls. So going higher, she's talking about Portugal's football. Freedom has announced the Cristiano Ronaldo has tested positive for COVID-19. So Labour, Sir Khan has had a call from national circuit breaker lockdown listing between 2 to 3 weeks. Club the rising in cases. So whatever it's trying to say. Health Secretary Matt Hancock says the Druce government free tidies symptom plan in the Housing Commons ahead of vote by MPs on the plan later today. So there's a lot of craziness still going on in the world, guys and girls. The coronavirus has still gone up. Most people wish it would end by now, but it was 143 deaths today, as I've just shown you. People, let's see, next following days, London will have to pass the Tiger Point B second tie. Don't know what's going on, really. So we're going to see it now. People's homes and care homes, deaths and hospitals they're going to be talking about now. Settled in the pandemic. This guy's speaking about now.
Charlotte's mother died at home this summer, not of COVID, but of cancer. Hers was one of thousands of deaths which have taken place in our homes, a national phenomenon that might well be changing our relationship with
Very sad, that is.
Much has been made of what's happened in care homes and in hospitals, but far less has been said about something else, something that's been evident in the data for some time.
It's worth just looking at the number of deaths we've seen versus the average in various different settings.
Back in the early weeks of the pandemic, I noticed a striking pattern.
What concerns me now is the fact that actually we're seeing more deaths at home.
The number of people dying at home was elevated and stayed high even after lockdown ended and deaths in other settings dropped down to normal levels. Charlotte's mother was effectively one of those data points, but her story underlines this is more complicated and challenging an issue than anything.
I had to put this plate in the kitchen. As you can see, everybody has dishes.
What we need to recognise at the minute is that people don't have the option. It's very much, if you want to spend time with your family member, then you're forced into caring for them at home. And whilst that may have been the decision that you come to in a normal world, and you may decide that that's the right thing for you in this life, at this present time, you just don't have the choice. And I think when you're stripped of that choice, suddenly everything can feel quite overwhelming. Looking back on it, it was undoubtedly one of the hardest thing we've all had to deal with. And it being in the house, we now have to live in this house, and it is still home, but there are some quite painful memories.
It is one of the rarely told stories of the pandemic. Even what might be described as normal deaths are happening differently these days. Selena, who works in a hospice in Devon, has certainly noticed a change.
There really isn't a day that goes by now that we don't have a death, because I think where, again, they've not accessed the support that they've needed, that people are just dying a lot quicker because of that. So yeah, we're seeing an awful lot of that, a lot of death.
The latest figures from the Office for National Statistics show that in domestic settings, excess deaths, in other words, the number of people dying above historic levels, are still elevated. Since March, there have been 28,000 excess deaths at home, more than in care homes, hospitals, or any other setting. But as more have died at home, their ability to access the support they need is diminishing.
So just
According to a survey of hospices seen by Sky News, more than 2/5, around 44%, think they'll have to reduce the volume of services they can provide for palliative care and end of life. Some 93% are concerned that people could miss out on the support they require. It underlines that this is a story not just about data.
Office for National Statistics say that there's been 27,500 extra deaths at home since March, and only 2,500 of those are COVID deaths. So there's 25,000 of these extra deaths have occurred at home, each family on their own. What has been the quality of those deaths? What has been the end-of-life care at home, which is so important?
There is another potential explanation about why deaths at home are so high, and that is that many are suffering because they are either unable or unwilling to go into hospitals, care homes, or other settings. Adrian was due earlier this year to have a potentially life-saving operation on his liver after his bowel cancer spread there. But when the pandemic struck, the operation was cancelled.
Devastated.
Yeah, absolutely devastating.
We worked so hard and kept going with the chemo to get to that point, only for COVID to hit, and then it all changed and the op got cancelled.
Obviously, your operation is your best chance you've got when you're living with cancer.
Adrian's cancer is now terminal, another indirect consequence of the pandemic. What we are starting to discover in streets and neighbourhoods and households around the country is that the nature of normal death is changing in the face of this pandemic. So deaths that aren't directly or indirectly caused by COVID-19 are still happening differently. And that's something that no single chart can show you. As Britain steels itself for a second surge of the virus, it is yet another reminder that we're only beginning to understand the consequences of this disease for our lives and our deaths. Ed Conway, Sky News.
This is the News Hour with me, Mark Austin. Coming up, our ministers following the science with their new postcode lockdowns.
Well, are the scientists following those lockdowns? You know, when you feel that people have had cancer and had lung problems and had heart disease and you have bowel problems and cancers, you feel so sad. And the reasons why people feel sad about it is because it's a loved one and it's a family member that sometimes they survive and other times they won't. For living and experiencing something like that of losing your mum, breast cancer, which was my mum, then having testicle cancer myself, and a lot of other family members and people that have known people like that get very heartbroken and sad about it, because it's not nice. The human body was designed to fight all these illnesses, or you would have thought so, but sometimes it's not the case. We're not designed to die. We shouldn't be. Why do we die one day? There's got to be something in us that kills us. And some people would say it was because of the... if you guys and girls ever believe in the Bible, like Adam and Eve, I mean, some people believe in that story because Eve took the apple. But about Adam, he said, don't take the apple to Eve. But we can all talk about religious stories and presume what's going to happen. The serpent's a snake is Satan, as we all know. And God's the Almighty. There's a God in the sky, and people believe in Jesus. And, you know, it just really hurts you inside that you lose a loved one, use a good friend. It always happens to the good people that you lose, or the people that are closest to you. And that's what hurts a lot of people inside here, inside their hearts, in here, and inside their brains and their minds. They get upset about it. I mean, if I had a magic wand, or if I had anything, I'd bring all these people back to life from cancer. And if I had one wish, I'd wish people to just keep living. Why would we want to die one day? Why would we? Just keep living and living and living. But we all die one day, and we all go to a better place in life, which I'm hoping one day when I get to that age and I will go to heaven, or go to a different dimension or place like everybody else seems to go to. And some people say they don't tell us and come back and tell us where they're going to go to, if they're a different dimension. I'm hoping there's something else after life after death, and some people see orbs and spirits and angels on the phone, which indicates there is something after life after death. There's got to be, because the phone couldn't fake an orb or fake a spirit, or you take a photograph and you can see probably orbs and spirits on your phone as you're talking and as you're expressing the way you are. The phone doesn't fake that. Some people may disagree, but that's their opinion. But it is very sad, guys and girls, that people that would do anything or like to wish back the times they damaged with their family, and wishing they were there and repairing the damage they did. Some people don't get on with their family, fair enough. I mean, I don't. But, it is what it is at the end of the day. You just got to be true to yourself and be aware of the surroundings and to others. But anyway, guys and girls, I better go. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Give it a like and give it a comment. Share it with your friends. Tell me what you think about this video. Hope you all enjoyed it. And very sad news about the coronavirus numbers going up again. 143. 17,000 cases. What's going to be tomorrow? Hopefully be down, hopefully be up. You can never know. It's like balancing sugar. Anyway, see you in the next video. Peace.